Chosen one, listen closely. This is not just a message, this is a divine interruption. You were not supposed to see this tomorrow. You were not meant to casually scroll past it next week. This was destined for today. And if you delay, hesitate, or second guess what you're about to hear, you could miss the very doorway heaven carved open for you. Right now, there is a window small, sacred, and temporary, and it is only open for a short while. If you've been asking for a sign, this is not just your sign. This is your signal. There is a reason your spirit was pulled to this video at this exact moment in time. Don't brush it off. Don't say, "I'll come back to it later." Later will be too late. You are standing at the edge of something monumental, a divine unlock, a rapid transfer, a spiritual push that will only recognize those who move in obedience and urgency. What if the thing you've been waiting for your whole life is waiting on you to move today? Before we go any further, pause right here and comment 777 if you feel that tug in your spirit. That number isn't random, it's divine completion. A spiritual confirmation that what God started in you is being fulfilled right now. To those who've supported this channel through Super, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your generosity has helped this message reach the ones who need it most. And you are part of this prophetic ripple. Now, stay with me, because in the next few moments, I'm going to show you exactly why today is different. Why this alignment couldn't happen yesterday. And why waiting until tomorrow could cost you everything. You're about to find out why this moment was divinely scheduled, and why it's your responsibility to answer the call. Let's go deeper. God's chosen ones. This was meant for today. Delay it, and you'll miss the whole point. Time has never been negotiable, and right now, it's collapsing inward, like a divine countdown. This is not a season for delay or indecision. You, chosen one, are standing on sacred ground, and heaven is waiting for your response. Not your perfection. God is not whispering anymore, He's roaring. The divine echo you've been sensing in your spirit, that pressing weight you couldn't shake this morning. That uneasiness while doing something as simple as scrolling your phone, that was the sound of destiny tapping you on the shoulder. Why now? Because today holds a frequency that tomorrow cannot replicate. The door is open, but it's not staying open forever. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai's words strike like lightning. Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this, chosen one? What if this moment is exactly that? The alignment of every sacrifice, every hidden season, every prayer you thought went unheard. Could it be that the moment you feared stepping into is the very one heaven assigned you to shift? British-American artist Yinka Shonibare, known for fusing history and urgency through his post-colonial art, once said, "I realized I had two choices, stand still or make the moment count." That's exactly what you're facing now. You can't afford to pause in fear. If Yinka hadn't acted when history called, he would have faded into the shadows of almost. But instead, he became a symbol of unapologetic boldness. Just like him, your purpose carries the burden of timing. And yet, there's a warning in this window. If there are those who awaken the heavens with obedience, there are others who provoke judgment by delay. Joe Low, the Malaysian financier behind the infamous 1MDB scandal, once stood in powerful rooms with limitless access. But he chose deception over divine timing. His billions couldn't buy back integrity. He is now a global fugitive. And his legacy is a cautionary tale. Delay and deception breed downfall. What are you risking by hesitating one more hour? This is not a hypothetical shift. It is real and active. Romans 13:11 says, "And do this." Understanding the present time, the hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber. You're not just waking up to inspiration, you're waking up to instruction. Heaven is not waiting for you to be in the mood. Heaven is moving, and it will either carry you or move past you. What if the next 48 hours are the very ones your soul has been groaning for? What if the tears you wept in private were watering this very moment of harvest? Could it be that your next 15 days depend entirely on your decision in the next 15 minutes? Isaiah 43:19 reminds us, "Behold, I am doing a new thing, now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" This is not random. This is resurrection in real time. Imagine this as the ignition to your purpose, just like when Elijah heard not the earthquake, not the fire, but the still small voice in 1 Kings 19:12. That was the turning point. That voice is speaking again now. But it won't wait forever. Momentum is being activated. Power is shifting hands. Oil is being poured. The frequency is shifting. The next 2 nights will set the architecture for your next 2 weeks. Will you build with obedience or sabotage with hesitation? James 1:22 exhorts. Be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. It's not enough to hear this word and feel inspired. Heaven is looking for movement. You are not standing in front of just another message. You are standing in the hallway between what was and what could be. The only thing missing now is your yes. Stand up. Move. Now. Step in. Don't just scroll past a divine invitation. You were born for this. You were built for now. You were chosen on purpose for this moment. Don't let it pass you by. Something sacred is unfolding right now. You may not be able to explain it with words, but your spirit feels it like a subtle quaking in the soil beneath your feet. You've entered a divine threshold, and this window is unlike any other. You are standing in a moment of supernatural acceleration, and God is recalibrating everything inside you for something far greater than you imagined. Yes, you may feel dizzy, even disconnected from what once felt familiar, but this disorientation is not a sign of failure. It is a spiritual shedding. God is making room for the glory that's about to arrive. What happens when the earth prepares for an eruption? Pressure builds beneath the surface. Plates shift in silence. The mountain looks still, but heaven is stirring it from within. That's where you are. Your soul has become volcanic ground for breakthrough. Isaías 64:1 declares, "Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down, that the mountains would tremble before you." Right now, the mountain of your calling is trembling, not to collapse, but to erupt in revelation. Tonight is not just a passing hour in your life. It's a divine appointment disguised as ordinary time. The atmosphere has shifted. The air carries a different weight, as if it's saturated with prophecy. These next 2 nights aren't random. They're holy ground. You are standing in the same space spiritually that Moses did in Exodus 3-5, when God told him, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." What you feel now is not anxiety. It's spiritual gravity pulling you toward divine purpose. Nature understands the tension before transformation. The cicada, buried in darkness for 17 years, doesn't emerge. With a whisper, it erupts into a chorus that shakes the silence. What if the silence you've endured was not punishment, but preparation for your own awakening, as French director Xavier Beauvoir depicts in Of Gods and Men, a haunting film based on true Christian monks in Algeria. There's a line spoken in one of the quietest yet most sacred moments. I was not afraid of death. I was afraid of the path leading to it. Len, the same may be true for you. You're not afraid of purpose. You're afraid of the weight it demands. But tonight, that fear becomes fuel. You may sense emotional turbulence, waves of pressure, moments of intense longing, or even spiritual exhaustion. This is the language of the Spirit speaking through your body. 2 Corinthians 4:17 reminds us, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." The discomfort you feel isn't a sign to back away. It's the stretching of your vessel to carry more glory. Every emotion tonight is a signal. Every tug in your heart is a signpost. Psalm 25:14 says, "The secret of the Lord is with those who fear him, and he will show them his covenant." God is about to reveal something secret, something sacred that only those aligned can receive. Not everyone will feel this, but you do, because you're chosen. You've been marked for more, and your sensitivity to this shift is proof that heaven is near. Tonight is not just sacred, it is strategic. Your alignment is not optional, it is the access point. This divine setup is not happening to you, it's happening for you. The more you stay present, the more heaven reveals. The more you surrender, the more favor flows. Could it be that your next miracle is waiting on the other side of your obedience tonight? And yes, Romans 8:18 echoes through the silence. The sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Everything you've been through, every betrayal, delay, and detour was never wasted. It all brought you here, to this very night, to this very moment. The divine setup has already begun. Don't pull away. Don't shrink. Don't scroll past what was meant to shift your entire life. Stand in it. Stay in it. And let God finish what he started. The signals have already started. Spiritual downloads, symbolic dreams, and divine nudges are rushing in with increasing speed-coded messages from heaven, woven into the hours you once deemed ordinary. But here's the real question. Will you recognize the sacred buried in the sudden, in a world flooded with noise? Your ability to detect the whispers of God is now your most important weapon. This is not just spiritual warfare, this is cognitive warfare. The enemy is no longer showing up in the shadows. He's showing up as distractions, illusions, and endless mental loops designed to fragment your focus. Tonight, more than ever, you may feel the strain in your mind, the pulling in different directions, the invisible heaviness, the ache in your spirit you can't quite explain. But remember this, John 16:13 promises, when the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth. And that includes the truth of what's pulling you away from your purpose. Every distraction is a decoy. Every interruption is a theft attempt, trying to rob you of the power that's about to descend. Just like a rocket piercing the Earth's atmosphere must endure intense resistance before entering orbit, your spirit is breaking through atmospheric interference. The psychological friction you're experiencing is evidence that your frequency is shifting. Romans 12:2 calls for the renewal of your mind. And right now, your mind is being rewired to hold a greater measure of revelation. To understand the weight of this moment, picture yourself as a cathedral under construction, not one made by human hands, but one formed by divine blueprints. In sacred architecture, the tension in a keystone is what holds the entire arch together. Without pressure, the structure collapses. Ephésiens 2:21 In him, the whole building is joined together and rises to become a holy temple in the Lord. Right now, God is fitting your life together piece by piece, and pressure is the mortar sealing your elevation. In the science of resonance, the most powerful transformations occur at the edge of chaos. When a system is pushed just enough, it begins to reorganize at a higher frequency. Could it be that your spirit is being stretched into divine resonance tonight? Zanele Muholi, a South African visual activist and photographer who once said, "I am reclaiming my blackness, my queerness, my identity through visibility." Though not a traditional theologian, Muholi teaches us something profound. Pressure reveals authenticity. Their bold resistance to erasure mirrors what you must now embody in the spirit, full visibility in your calling, no matter what it costs. And here's what you must face. What if the pressure you're under is not to crush you, but to calibrate you? What if that discomfort in your chest isn't anxiety, but divine expansion? Could your spiritual pain be the exact indicator that you are approaching breakthrough velocity? Philippians 1:6 reminds us, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Completion comes after construction, and construction always brings chaos before beauty. Don't interpret the mess as a mistake. This is the blueprint. This is divine engineering. Even your dreams tonight may carry layers of mystery as you sleep. Your subconscious will speak in symbols, the sensation of flying, of falling, of searching. These are not meaningless images. They are messages. Joel 2:28 declares, "Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." God is speaking in your sleep. The veil is thinning. So don't run from the discomfort. Don't let this pressure make you panic. Let it make you prophetic. You're not being broken. You're being launched. What you are about to encounter in your dreams is not fantasy. It is a prophecy cloaked in vision. God is shifting the atmosphere around you and inside you through what some call rapture energy. These are not ordinary dreams. These are celestial briefings from heaven. They may come suddenly, in flashes, or as long, vivid narratives that feel more real than waking life. But they are all divine in origin. Job 33:15-16 reveals this clearly. In a dream, in a vision of the night, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction. This is the kind of night you are stepping into. Flying dreams aren't just psychological phenomena, they're spiritual confirmations. They signify freedom, the lightness of burdens once carried, the ascension of the soul from old cycles into a realm of divine revelation. They are God's way of saying, "You are no longer bound." Isaiah 40:31 affirms this. "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles." That's not a metaphor. That's movement in the spirit. Lucid dreaming will now become your divine compass. God is turning your nights into strategy rooms. You'll not only witness, but navigate your dreams intentionally. This isn't just mystical. It's deeply spiritual. Acts 2:17 says, "Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams." The visions coming are not just insight, they are instruction. Blueprints, coordinates, warnings, answers to questions you've long buried. This is why you must remain spiritually alert, even while asleep, because some of the clearest answers you've been praying for will come in dream form. Your soul will be shown what your mind couldn't yet understand. Proverbs 3:5-6 assures us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and he will make your paths straight." The path he is revealing now starts in your sleep. To illustrate this in real life, Dr. Tererai Trent, a Zimbabwean scholar and humanitarian who, as a child, was denied education and married off young. But one night, she had a dream, repeated for years, of walking across a graduation stage in a cap and gown. She called it her sacred vision against every obstacle. She followed that dream. Today, she holds multiple degrees and was honored by Oprah Winfrey as one of the most inspiring women alive. Her dream was not random, it was divine. And yet, just as God speaks in dreams, so does the enemy try to counterfeit and corrupt. One example of this is Marshall Herff Applewhite, a former music professor who led the Heaven's Gate cult. He misinterpreted dreams and spiritual impressions, claiming they were extraterrestrial messages from a higher realm. He ultimately convinced 39 people to commit mass suicide in 1997. What began as fascination with spiritual experience became a delusion because it lacked true discernment. Dreams without alignment to God's truth become dangerous distortions. So what kind of dreamer will you be? Will you rise as one who listens to divine instruction, or drift as one who misinterprets sacred signals? Jeremiah 33:3 offers this invitation. "Call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." What if tonight is the night God begins to show you those unsearchable things? Tonight, as you sleep, don't resist what God is showing you. Don't dismiss the symbols, the numbers, the visions that echo in your spirit. Even the emotions you feel in those dreams are part of the message. What if the anxiety you feel in your dream is not fear, but an instruction to pay attention? What if flying isn't just symbolic freedom, but a literal elevation in your calling? The veil is thin. Heaven is speaking. You are being reprogrammed for divine awareness. You are not just sleeping, you are receiving. You are not just dreaming, you are downloading destiny. And tonight is the doorway. Walk through it. This moment is sacred. What began as a gentle stirring on the first night has now become a divine crescendo. You've entered the second night, and it carries a weight that is not of this world. This isn't just another phase of your walk with God. This is the crossing over. A supernatural threshold has opened, and you're being invited into an encounter that will recalibrate your entire being. Isaiah 66:3 promises, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." That perfect peace and divine power are meeting you right now at the same time, in the same breath. Tonight, you won't just believe in God's presence, you will feel it. Tangibly, undeniably, His presence will wrap around your soul like a warm surge of wind before a lightning storm alive. Electric, undeniable. It will settle into your bones, not to shake you, but to still you. And you will know, He's not just near, He's with you. Psalm 46:1 declares, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." That word, ever-present, will no longer be a verse. It will become your experience. What if this night was the answer to the prayers you forgot you prayed? What if the breakthrough you've waited years for is arriving not in noise, but in stillness? Just as a forest knows how to shift in silence before a coming storm, your spirit will feel the holy hush that always precedes a revelation. Trees don't shout before they bloom. They just stretch silently toward the sun. That's you now, silent, but stretching, still, but awakening, and when the stillness breaks, clarity will flood in like a sunrise after weeks of overcast skies. 1 Corinthians 2:10 says, "These are the things God has revealed to us by His Spirit. The Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God." Tonight, the Spirit is revealing deep things, truths that have been hidden, not from you, but for you. You'll know it's happening when your past struggles begin to lose their emotional grip. What used to paralyze you with fear will suddenly seem weightless. This is what it feels like when the fog of confusion lifts and divine wisdom takes its place. James 1-5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, and it will be given." You won't just receive insight, you'll walk in it with authority. A powerful line from the French film The Song of Bernadette comes to mind, where the young saint says, "For those who believe, no explanation is necessary. For those who do not believe, no explanation is possible." Tonight, you won't need explanations. You'll know. This is your divine encounter, and your life will never be the same. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be standing on the edge of a spiritual waterfall seconds before the water breaks and rushes into a new dimension of flow? That's where you are. The sound is rising, the momentum is building, and when it comes, nothing will remain stagnant. In the next few days, even your dreams will carry codes of abundance. You will see glimpses of what's coming, finances flowing, doors unlocking, people entering your life like divine messengers. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." These are not just material upgrades. They are prophetic markers of alignment. Every open door in this season is heaven's confirmation. You're ready. The increase will touch every area of your life. What once trickled will now pour. Where there was drought, now there will be overflow. Where there was confusion, now there will be clarity. Philippiens 4:19 assures us. "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." Oh, you've endured, you've been tested, and now your moment has arrived. Do not take this lightly. Do not treat this night as common. This is your divine elevation. Rise into it. Receive it. Move boldly. What begins tonight will mark you forever. You've crossed through the intensity. You've endured the recalibration. Now comes the moment you've been secretly preparing for the release. Heaven is positioning you to reap the harvest of your faithfulness, but this isn't simply a reward. It's a responsibility wrapped in revelation. In these sacred hours, God is sending divine intelligence through your dreams. These aren't just symbolic, they're encoded. They are spiritual data packets, layered with blueprints and coordinates, pointing toward decisions that can unlock doors faster than any physical effort could. Jeremiah 29:11 affirms, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Right now, those plans are beginning to surface, not through circumstance, but through insight. What if that seemingly random image in your dream is actually a key? What if the sequence of numbers you see is a divine frequency aligning you to prosperity? As you prepare for rest, you may feel mentally overloaded, thoughts racing, emotions stirring. But this is not insomnia. It's spiritual interference being cleared. God is restructuring your mind like an architect, restoring a cathedral after a long siege. 1 Corinthians 3:16 reminds us, "Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in your midst?" Your mind is the cathedral, and God is performing a full interior restoration tonight. This isn't just sleep, It's recalibration. The thoughts that won't stop racing aren't dysfunction. They're the residue of an old pattern being evicted. Your spirit won't let you rest until your mind is cleared for reception, just as in neurology. The brain undergoes synaptic pruning during rest clearing, unused pathways to make room for new growth. Your spiritual brain is now doing the same. God is trimming away thought patterns that can no longer carry the weight of your calling. In quantum physics, it is said that particles exist in a state of potential until observed. Could it be that your dreams tonight are collapsing probabilities into divine certainties? To bring this home, let me share a story. David Ajay, a Ghanaian British architect renowned for designing sacred spaces, once said, "Architecture should empower, not oppress. It must breathe with the people it serves." That's exactly what God is doing to you. He is redesigning your internal architecture, your mental framework, so your thoughts empower your elevation, not hinder it. No more cramped blueprints from past trauma. No more spiritual ceilings. This is spiritual architecture unveiled. And now the question becomes, what will you do with this clarity? Will you let old voices override new instructions, or will you silence them and step into alignment? Proverbs 16:3 instructs, "Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." If your thoughts are still wandering tonight, it's because God is not done establishing them. The pressure to quiet your mind isn't punishment, it's positioning. Romans 8:6 offers deeper wisdom. The mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. That's your promise. That's your destination. So as you lie in the stillness, don't wrestle. Breathe. Yield. Let the ancient architect clear the halls of your inner cathedral. Let him sweep away every cobweb of fear, every echo of old failure, every dusty ceiling of unbelief. This is what spiritual alignment looks like, not just a posture of prayer, but a mental blueprint submitted to heaven's design. You are not just trying to fall asleep. You are stepping into synchronization with divine timing. Let it happen. Let the thoughts unravel. Let the clarity come. Let the blessings pour. This is your mental exodus. And tonight God is leading you out. Right now, something profound is happening in your spirit. Something holy. Something eternal. God is not just preparing you for elevation. He is programming you for alignment. What's coming is far beyond what you can mentally grasp or physically anticipate. But before it manifests, God is asking one thing of you: clarity of mind and purity of trust. Because the truth is, heaven can only pour into what's open, focused, and surrendered. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." That straight path begins tonight, not when you move physically, but when your spirit aligns internally. When you awaken tomorrow, the haze you've been living under may suddenly lift. You'll feel it sharp, crisp, knowing like a divine GPS being reactivated. You'll no longer ask, "What should I do?" Instead, you'll sense with full certainty, this is the way. Walk in it. And here's what's deeper. God is not merely working on your emotions. He's embedding cosmic codes, spiritual blueprints written before time, into your soul. These aren't poetic metaphors. They're real, encoded instructions that unlock the parts of you that have been waiting to be awakened. Ephesians 2:10 confirms this. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Those works prepared in advance, you're about to receive the spiritual instructions to carry them out. But what if the sensations you're experiencing aren't random? What if the restlessness, the energy flowing through your chest, the tingling in your fingers, what if these are signs of divine reprogramming? God is not just changing your path, He's upgrading your internal system. You're not being healed back to normal. You're being elevated into the original design He authored for you in eternity. These divine codes will sharpen your discernment, expand your capacity, and activate a higher level of intuitive wisdom. John 14:26 affirms it. But the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. That teaching isn't always through sermons. It can come in the silence, in the frequency shift you feel even now. Carlos Cruz Diez, the Venezuelan kinetic artist who revolutionized color perception by discovering how colors could interact dynamically through movement. He once said, "Color is not static, it's a situation, constantly in flux." Just like perception itself. Cruz Diez didn't follow the rules. He rewrote them through higher vision. Similarly, God is shifting the colors of your spiritual perception, upgrading the way you see, move, and respond to the world around you. But just as there are those who surrender to the divine, there are those who resist and try to manipulate it. One such figure was Charles Ponzi, the Italian swindler who rose to fame for promising massive returns through financial schemes in the 1922nd. What looked like brilliance was actually deception. He exploited people's faith in opportunity, but because his system lacked divine structure, it crumbled. Ponzi died in poverty and disgrace. His name became a global synonym for fraud. He's proof. You can build fast with lies, but you can only build to last with truth. So, again, what if this intensity you feel tonight is not chaos, but calling? What if your spiritual glitches are the exact signals that divine code is being written into your soul? Isaiah 30:21 says, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" That voice is becoming louder, clearer, stronger. You're not broken, you're being upgraded. And even now, the final piece is being set into place. Get ready. Surrender everything. Align fully. What's happening inside of you is not confusion, it's divine coding. This is activation. And once it begins, there's no going back. You've been chosen. Now walk in the frequency of your assignment. Just as a master musician doesn't strike the first chord until the strings are perfectly tuned, God is carefully, intentionally adjusting the frequency of your spirit to align with the vibration of your divine purpose. This tuning may feel uncomfortable, tightening in places you didn't expect, stretching where you thought you were already strong, but it is necessary. You are being fine-tuned for destiny. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is." The changes you're sensing aren't interruptions. They are indicators that the renewal is underway, like a chrysanthemum that blooms later than other flowers. Your season has been timed, not for the crowd, but for the crown. Your growth was not delayed. It was divinely scheduled. And now, the second week of August has arrived not just as a page on the calendar, but as a celestial timestamp. This is the week your preparation meets activation. The week your hidden prayers become visible results. The week the spiritual winds shift in your favor. Could it be that the discomfort you've endured was never about punishment but preparation for sudden harvest? Galatians 6:9 urges us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, For at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. That proper time is now, not metaphorically, not someday, but now. You are standing in the very moment you once begged God for. Nature understands divine timing better than we do. The Arctic poppy, buried beneath snow for months, blooms overnight when exposed to 24-hour sunlight during the polar summer. What looked like a delay was incubation, and now your spirit is responding to divine light. In the days to come, breakthroughs will not trickle, they'll flow. Conversations that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Connections will click. You will begin to discern who carries life and who carries weight. This isn't just the unveiling of blessings, it's the restructuring of your environment to make room for them. Isaías 43:19 declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God is not just bringing new things, He's bringing new perception so you don't miss them. Like fruit, ripening all at once after years of faithful watering. The seeds you've sown, every act of obedience, every moment of sacrifice, every whispered yes are now coming to harvest. You didn't just grow, you were rooted, and now elevation is inevitable. But with this season comes stewardship. The second week of August is not just about reward, it's about responsibility. Luke 12:48 reminds us, "To whom much is given, much will be required." God is trusting you with more influence, more clarity, more weight. Are you ready to carry it with grace? There's a line from the European Christian film Letters to Father Jacob that whispers gently but powerfully, "Some prayers are like seeds, they disappear underground, but they're not forgotten." What if everything you thought was buried was actually being rooted? What if now is the moment heaven unveils what's been quietly growing all along? What if this isn't just the start of a new chapter, but the culmination of every chapter you thought didn't matter? Philippians 1:6 confirme. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. That good work is rising, not because you forced it, but because you endured. And now it's your time to lead. This week will invite you into rooms you once feared were too big. You'll be called to operate with wisdom beyond your years, and confidence not built on ego, but on intimacy with God. The world will ask, "Where did this come from?" And you'll know, it was never you. It was always Him. So rise boldly, speak clearly, walk humbly. The second week of August is not just a date, it is your destiny in motion, and your eyes will echo through eternity. This is not just a moment, this is the moment. Your breakthrough window isn't coming, it's already open. It's here, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, the gates of limitation have been unlocked. The hinges of delay are loosening, and heaven is beckoning you to move boldly, decisively, and without apology. Isaías 60:1 commands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." That verse was once a promise. Tonight, it's a prophetic reality. The time you've spent waiting has not been wasted. It has been measured, tested, and calibrated to create this precise opening. The door is not wide open forever, but it's wide open now. What if hesitation is the only thing standing between you and the very life you've been praying for? What if this is the final test of your trust to move without all the answers? You've fought invisible battles, spiritual wars that left no physical scars, but sharpened your discernment and forged your resilience. You stood when no one noticed. You worshipped while bleeding. You prayed while breaking. 2 Corinthians 4-8 -9 reflects your journey. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, struck down, but not destroyed. And now, that warfare has positioned you for divine reward. From a scientific perspective, your life has been building to this exact frequency. In physics, there is a moment in quantum tunneling where a particle, facing a seemingly impenetrable barrier, doesn't climb over it, it phases through. That's what you're doing right now. You're not pushing through by effort. You're phasing through by alignment. Spiritually, you are no longer trying to force an opening, you are the frequency that opens it. And once you pass through this energetic threshold, nothing on the other side will look the same, because you won't be the same. This window of opportunity is like a rare planetary alignment, measurable only by those who are awake to its divine magnitude. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit knows. This is your divine setup. Your soul has already sensed it. Even if your mind is still catching up. In architecture, great cathedrals have what's called a threshold vault, a structural arc that supports the weight above an entrance. It represents strength in transition. You are walking through your own threshold vault. Yes, the weight is heavy, but the structure is sacred, and God is reinforcing every part of you as you cross. Mira Murachi, the Chief Technology Officer of OpenAI, an innovator who works at the intersection of humanity and intelligence, she once said, "There's a threshold of trust that technology must cross before it becomes transformative." The same is true of your faith. Right now, God is asking you to cross your threshold of trust, and transformation will follow. And yet, fear may try to call you back. Confusion may whisper, "What if it's not the right time?" But remember, Ecclesiastes 3:11 affirms, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." This is that time. Beautiful, divine, appointed. What if the love you've longed for, the healing you've cried out for, the vision you've carried in silence is all on the other side of your willingness to step forward now? Deuteronomy 31:8 gives the final assurance. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Then, yes, attacks may increase. The enemy only strikes when treasure is near. But now you are equipped. You are reinforced. You are sealed in favor. So rise with courage. Move without hesitation. Walk through this threshold like someone who knows. Heaven wrote their name on the other side. Your breakthrough is not pending, it is present. Don't miss it. Tonight, as darkness settles, resistance will rise, but not because you're off course. On the contrary, it's because you're exactly where God wants you to be. The enemy can sense when a chosen one is moments away from stepping into divine alignment. That's why the attacks seem louder now. That's why your thoughts may suddenly become cluttered. The distractions, the tension in your relationships, the temptation to give up. It's all spiritual warfare disguised as coincidence. But here's the truth. The enemy doesn't want you to realize your very resistance is proof of your relevance. The devil doesn't waste bullets on empty targets. He only attacks what threatens him. Ephesians 6:11. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. This is not the time to run. It's time to armor up. You may ask yourself, why does it get harder right before the breakthrough? Why do the attacks increase right when I've chosen to fully surrender? Because you are walking into territory hell used to own. You are not weak. You are a warrior. And the heaviness you feel is not a sign of failure. It is the pressure of spiritual elevation. Romans 8:37 reminds us, In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Your name is written in victory. Cover yourself in prayer. Speak the word with authority. Remind yourself of the blood that was shed to protect your calling. Isaías 54:17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." The weapons may form, but they will never win. Florence Delay, a French writer, actress, and academician who once said, "The most dangerous darkness is not the one outside, but the one that dims our vision within." Tonight, God is about to confront that inner fog. He is opening your eyes in the Spirit. But we must not ignore the warning of what happens when distraction becomes a lifestyle. Jim Jones, the self-proclaimed prophet turned cult leader, began with the appearance of righteousness, but his unchecked ego, isolation from accountability, and manipulative spirit led to one of the darkest tragedies in history. Over 900 lives lost in a mass suicide in Jonestown. 1978. His downfall began with ignoring conviction and choosing charisma over Christ. His story is a chilling reminder. When we blind ourselves to truth, we make ourselves vulnerable to destruction. Are the battles you're facing meant to destroy you, or are they revealing the gates you're destined to break open? Because tonight, God is removing the veils, the fog, the illusions. What once seemed confusing will now become clear. 2 Kings 6:17 paints the picture. Then Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. That same unveiling is happening to you now. This is not a passing encounter. It is a permanent shift in vision. Your spiritual eyes are being recalibrated. Your discernment is sharpening. You'll begin to notice inconsistencies in relationships that once felt harmless. You'll sense doors that are traps in disguise and recognize the ones that are truly from God. What if everything you've been missing wasn't hidden from you but hidden by you? What if the scales are finally falling from your eyes? Proverbs 20:12 says, "The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord has made them both." And tonight, He is reactivating both. You're about to see with heaven's clarity and hear with prophetic precision. And now step boldly, speak wisely, discern deeply. The enemy tried to blind you, but God is awakening your sight. You've been assigned, you've been armored, and now you've been activated. This is your moment. Walk in it. What once looked blurry is now beginning to sharpen. The fog is lifting. The static is clearing. What you couldn't quite grasp before, whether it was a decision, a direction, or even your identity, is about to become unmistakably clear. Isaiah 42:16 promises this very moment. "I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. I will turn the darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth." That's what's happening now. Your path is being lit from within. This is not simply a season of movement. This is a season of revelation. Your spiritual eyes are being opened. And with that comes the ability to interpret your life with heaven's perspective. No more walking in circles. No more double-mindedness. No more confusion, masked as caution. James 1:5 reminds us, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, and it will be given." The wisdom is here. It's coming through your dreams, through your knowing, through the quiet moments that stir unexpectedly. What if your answer isn't something you'll hear, but something you'll see? What if the vision you receive while asleep carries more weight than the advice you've sought while awake? God is about to speak to you in one of the most personal, sacred ways He can, through your dreams. But these are not ordinary dreams. They are heaven's language, translated into symbolic form. These are not random images. They are divine sequences, downloaded instructions, wrapped in metaphor, and encrypted in symbolism. Job 33-15, -16, reveals, in a dream, in a vision of the night, he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction. You are not simply sleeping. You are receiving a strategy. Pay close attention in the coming nights. The details that seem strange, the animal, the number, the stranger who speaks, the place you suddenly appear in, may all be clues. Genesis 40-8 shows us this truth when Joseph said, "Do not interpretations belong to God?" Yes, they do. And if he gave you the dream, he will reveal its meaning. Let your trust be like that of the migrating monarch butterfly, which somehow journeys over 3,000 miles, guided not by maps or technology, but by an internal compass etched into its wings. You, too, are being guided. You may not fully understand how, but something inside you already knows where you're going. And just like the African baobab tree, which stores water for long droughts and seems dead during the dry season, but bursts with life at the right time, your soul has stored up revelation that is now being released. Don't judge the dryness. Expect the blooming. There's a moment in the award-winning European Christian film Babette's Feast that perfectly captures this clarity. When the villagers finally taste the chef's lavish sacrificial meal, one of them whispers, "Now we understand that mercy and truth have met together." In the same way, your dreams will bring clarity to both mercy and truth in your own journey. They will make sense of your pain and your purpose at the same time, but you must prepare to receive it. God is not throwing pearls into chaos. He is entrusting secrets to the still. Keep a journal next to your bed. Record even the fragments, the strange visuals, the vague emotions. They may not make sense now, but over time, they will form a prophetic mosaic. Habakkuk 2:2 confirms this. Write the vision and make it plain, though it lingers. Wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Oh, you will begin to see the divine alignment behind every setback. You'll understand why some people had to leave, why certain doors never opened, why you were delayed but never denied. Romans 8:28 will no longer be a verse. You quote, it will become a truth. You recognize, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Oh, what if everything you've endured wasn't meant to break you, but to prepare your spirit to finally perceive the full picture? Tonight, the revealing begins. The veil lifts. The codes download. The instruction flows. Don't dismiss what seems symbolic, because it might be your exact next step. This is more than sleep. This is an encounter. Prepare for vision. Prepare for direction. Prepare for purpose. This isn't a flash of lightning in the night. It's something much more intentional, a divine layering of whispers, symbols, and subtle alignments that will unfold piece by piece over the coming days. You are being led not by dramatic signs, but by a trail of holy breadcrumbs that will, in time, form the full portrait of your purpose. Isaiah 30:21 affirms this. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." The guidance won't always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it will be a soft nudge, a conversation that strikes a deep chord, a sudden memory that surfaces out of nowhere, or an inner knowing that gently pulls you in a new direction. These are not coincidences. They are coordinates. Each seemingly random moment is a part of heaven's coded language, gently steering you toward destiny. In physics, constructive interference occurs when two or more waves meet at just the right time to create an amplified signal. That's what's happening in your spirit now. The waves of your past experiences are aligning with the vibrations of divine timing to create a spiritual amplification, making this moment louder than any moment before it. What if the signs you've been waiting for aren't coming all at once, but one whisper at a time? What if the little things are the big things in disguise? Romans 8:28 assures. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. That includes the fragmented memories, the delayed dreams, and the quiet moments you didn't know were shaping you. The confusion you've wrestled with, the fog, the second guessing, the endless questions has been a recalibration, like a compass adjusting after being near a magnet. Your spiritual field is realigning to its true north. 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." So if peace is emerging from your confusion, know that God is rewriting the map. This unfolding is like a cathedral ceiling slowly being revealed through candlelight. You may only see one section at a time, but each part reveals more of the architectural masterpiece, and, just like that ceiling, your purpose is sacred, intricate, and intentionally constructed. Every revelation you receive, whether through a dream, a word, or a divine encounter, is another archstone in your spiritual design. To make this more real, Gudbjörg Rike Thorodsen, an Icelandic architect and visionary who blends ancient stone structures with modern sacred spaces, she once said, "A building must echo the soul of the land it rests upon. Likewise, your purpose must echo the journey you've walked, the storms you survived, the valleys you crawled through. Your pain isn't wasted. It's the very soil your purpose is rooted in. But here's a truth you must face. You cannot enter a new chapter while clinging to the old one. That version of you, the one who had to survive, perform, protect, and pretend served its purpose. But it is not the one who can carry the weight of this new season." Isaiah 43:18, -19, calls us forward. "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." What part of your identity is no longer required for where you're going? What title? What struggle? What label have you outgrown but are still wearing? You've grown familiar with the narrative of the one who endured the struggler, the broken, the left behind. But that story has expired, and God, the author of all things, is holding out a new script. Hebrews 12:1 urges, "Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." It's time to throw off the script that no longer fits and run with clarity. You are about to receive pieces of your divine assignment with increasing speed and precision, and with each dream, each intuitive flash, each perfectly timed encounter, the image will become clearer. So stand still in trust. Let the script fall from your hands. Open your spirit. The new chapter has already begun, written not in ink, but in divine code. Read it with faith. Walk it with boldness. And don't look back. God is not discarding your history. He's redeeming it. That's the difference between erasure and elevation. He's not trying to erase what you've lived through. He's reinterpreting it through the lens of glory. Every tear you've cried, every disappointment you've endured, every quiet moment of heartbreak, none of it was in vain. Romans 8, 18 Assurzus. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Your past doesn't disqualify you, it positions you. That pain you thought would define you is now becoming the platform upon which God will showcase his power. 2 Corinthians 12:9 reminds us, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." You are not being punished. You are being positioned. What if the pages you've been trying to forget are the exact ones God wants to highlight? You are not a victim of your story. You are the proof that God rewrites endings. The chapters that once held shame and silence are now being infused with grace, purpose, and redemption. You're being called out of spiritual captivity and into narrative freedom, no longer defined by what went wrong. You are now crowned by what God is making right. As you surrender your old storyline, divine freedom begins to take root. The emotional prisons you've lived in, regret, guilt, disappointment, are collapsing. The key was never changed. The key was released. Isaiah 61:3 tells us, "He gives us beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, and a garment of praise for a spirit of despair." In the nights ahead, you may find emotions rising to the surface, memories, faces, unresolved pain. Don't fight it. Don't suppress it. These are not setbacks. They are spiritual invitations to finally forgive, to make peace, and to step out of a prison you've already been given the keys to. And here's the truth. God is not only rewriting your story, He's using prophetic signs to guide your next steps. You may begin seeing repeating numbers like 3233, or others that stir something in your spirit. These are not random. They are part of heaven's symbolic language, a code meant to alert you, comfort you, and redirect you. Proverbs 25:2 declares, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings." You're not just being led, you're being invited into divine discovery. Start paying attention to that flicker in your spirit when you see those numbers or feel those nudges. These signs are a spiritual GPS recalibrating your path. There's someone whose story quietly echoes this very truth. Jason Reynolds, now celebrated as the National Ambassador for Young People's Literature, didn't read his first full book until he was 17, a late bloomer in every sense. Yet from that delay, he birthed a literary movement that gave a voice to an entire generation. He once said, "Sometimes the stories we carry feel too heavy to tell, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be told. And maybe, just maybe, that's what's happening to you now. The story you thought disqualified you is becoming the one that defines your divine relevance. You're not behind. You're becoming right on time. But don't be blind to the alternative. There are those who refused the rewrite, who clung so tightly to their old identity that they missed their transformation entirely. Take Paul Schaeffer, the former Nazi who created the authoritarian cult Colonia Dignidad in Chile, obsessed with control and frozen in his old identity. He refused healing, and ultimately became a symbol of tyranny and hidden abuse. He died isolated, disgraced, and exiled. His tragedy wasn't just what he did, it was what he refused to let go of. What false identity have you held onto that no longer serves my future? What blessings have been blocked by a version of you that's already expired? Jeremiah 29:11 brings us back to hope. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That future starts now, not when you're perfect, But when you trust, tonight, God is not just whispering over your pain, He's unlocking a new narrative. You are not forgotten. You are foretold. You are not broken. You are being built again. So breathe deep. Write the vision. Receive the signs. And turn the page. The next chapter is holy. And it begins with your yes. You may start to notice it at unexpected moments during prayer, during stillness, or even in the middle of ordinary routines. Sudden images, moving visions, sequences that flash across your mind like film scenes not yet lived. Don't dismiss them. Don't assume they're products of an overactive imagination. These are glimpses, snapshots of your future. Acts 2:17 confirms this. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. God is opening the prophetic dimension of your sight. These visions are not only clues for your personal journey, but also instructions for your divine assignment. When you see a number repeating, when a symbol returns again and again in your dreams or your waking life, write it down, journal it, sit with it. Ask God, what are you showing me? These patterns are not just signs, they are divine syntax. Heaven's coded language guiding your next move. But what if the frequency of heaven isn't something you strive for, but something you learn to recognize? What if the signs you've been ignoring are actually signals you were built to hear? God's guidance often comes in pieces, piece by piece. Not because He's hiding from you, but because He's training your spirit to walk by trust, not impulse. It's like how the snow leopard, one of the most elusive creatures on earth, leaves subtle, nearly invisible prints across mountain terrain. Only the trained eye can follow the trail. That's what prophetic clues are like, quiet traces of God's direction, left for those who've learned how to look. In the same way, the bamboo tree grows underground for years before it ever breaks through the surface. But when it finally emerges, it grows feet within days. This season of signs may feel slow or scattered, but it's leading to a surge of spiritual acceleration. Habakkuk 2-3 speaks to this, though it lingers. Wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. And don't question the supernatural nature of this season. Don't rationalize away the divine. God isn't just nudging you, He's awakening you. These breadcrumbs of vision, number, and impression are not random. They are holy architecture, forming the bridge between where you are and where you're called to be. There's a moment in the French spiritual film, The Ninth Day, where the priest, imprisoned in a Nazi camp, whispers in anguish, I can no longer tell if this silence is punishment or preparation. Perhaps you've wondered the same. Perhaps you've misinterpreted stillness as abandonment or confusion as delay. But what if the silence is where the frequency is most active? What if your spirit is learning a new way to listen? Proverbs 3-6 reassures us, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Every time you pause to pray, even in exhaustion, you are aligning with the divine rhythm. Prayer, in this hour, is no longer just about requests. It's about resonance. You're not just speaking to God, you're synchronizing with heaven's blueprint for your life. What if the greatest revelation won't come through words, but through the still imprint left by a dream? What if your breakthrough won't feel loud, but clear, quiet, and undeniable? John 10:27 says, My sheep listen to my voice, I know them, and they follow me. His voice is becoming clearer because your spirit is becoming quieter. This is not the season to drift in distraction. This is the hour to engage with divine awareness. So stay in prayer posture, not out of desperation, but out of alignment. Every time you pray, you tune your spirit like a stringed instrument catching the pitch of heaven. And once you're in sync, the decisions become clearer, the noise becomes irrelevant, and the vision becomes magnetic. God is not just guiding you, He's awakening you. The signs are real, the codes are live, the frequency is open. Now stay close, stay alert, and walk in what's being revealed. The whisper is enough if your heart is listening. You may not realize it yet, but heaven has already begun to shift the weight of your story. The spiritual realm is recalibrating around you. What feels heavy is about to lift. What feels confusing is about crystallization. But there's one thing you must understand. The shift isn't happening around you first. It's happening within you. The transformation you're entering starts in the deepest corridors of your soul. Before the door opens, God is adjusting the internal architecture of your heart to handle what's behind it. It's what structural engineers call a load redistribution, the moment before a new design can be supported. The weight must be properly balanced and shifted. That's why you've felt pressure in places you can't explain. Have you noticed the tension in your spirit, the sudden discomfort with what used to feel normal? That's not burnout. That's divine misalignment being corrected. God is softening what became too hardened, stretching what has grown too rigid, and pulling you out of spiritual autopilot. 2 Corinthians 4:16 says, "Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." That's what's happening to you now. The surface may still look the same, but underneath, a full spiritual renovation is taking place. You've been misjudging what you call delay. It's not delay, it's divine precision. Like a seasoned conductor, holding the orchestra just one more breath before the downbeat, God is waiting for your inner rhythm to match the symphony of heaven. And when it does, the music of your destiny will explode. The emotional, physical, and spiritual unease you feel is not random. It's the divine countdown ticking louder. Your internal sensitivity is being heightened so that you don't miss the moment. Because your breakthrough won't come with fireworks, it'll come with an internal click, a soul-deep knowing that this is it. And now, let's step into the divine unraveling of emotion that follows. This moment right here, right now, is not just about hearing with your ears. It's about aligning your entire internal system with the divine frequency of heaven. It's about tuning the bandwidth of your heart, mind, and soul to receive what God is sending. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is." Right now, the heavens are not just whispering, they are vibrating with power. But only those who are in prayer posture will feel the resonance. It's not enough to desire clarity. You have to be in spiritual frequency alignment to catch it. Just as a quantum particle responds to the observer's gaze, your spiritual shift begins the moment you choose to lean in with intention. Have you ever wondered why your emotions feel so intense right now? Why do the smallest things trigger deep responses within you? What if those outbursts were not dysfunction but divine release? As you enter deeper prayer, expect sudden waves of insight. Doors will begin to unlock, not just physically, but neurologically. Paths you couldn't see before will now emerge. What felt closed off, unreachable, or silent will begin to shift, because prayer, in this season, functions like a gravitational field, pulling what was once invisible into tangible manifestation. Matthew 7:7 declares, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." Lo, stay alert. Stay in alignment. Don't drift from divine connection just because the world is loud. Prayer is not passive communication, it is active spiritual architecture. When you pray, you're not just whispering to heaven, you're building altars, shifting atmospheres, and resetting the coordinates of your destiny. And tonight, if you feel something break inside of you, let it. If tears come, let them fall. If anger rises, let it be seen. If grief aches within your chest, give it space to breathe. This is not emotional chaos. This is spiritual detoxification. Emotional outbursts in this season are sacred. You are undergoing what psychology calls emotional homeostasis recalibration. Your inner system is ridding itself of patterns that no longer align with who you're becoming. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your tears are not weakness. They are sacrificial data points. Heaven is recording. Every sob is a surrender. Every frustration is a fracture in the prison walls that have held your emotions captive. Don't suppress what God is trying to release. To quote Paulo Coelho, the famed Brazilian author of The Alchemist, who spent years wrestling with his own spiritual path. Tears are words that need to be written. Sometimes, the only way to write the next chapter of your life is to let your tears fall on the unwritten pages. What if my deepest sorrow is the birthplace of my next elevation? What if God is using my unraveling as the foundation for my resurrection? What if the version of me I'm becoming requires the dismantling of everything I once called safe? Isaiah 63 promises to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. The oil is coming, but the crushing must come first. So cry, shout, collapse if you need to. Just don't close your heart. Because this isn't emotional instability. This is divine cleansing. Your soul is being wrung out like a soaked cloth, and heaven is catching every drop. The Holy Spirit is excavating trauma, uprooting strongholds, and rewriting the script of how you carry emotion. You're not overreacting, you're over-releasing, and it's holy. Ezekiel 36:26 says, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone." The old pain is being pulled out like splinters in flesh. Yes, it stings, but it's healing you. You are not breaking. You are being rebuilt. The shaking inside you is the sound of chains collapsing. The flood of emotion is not your undoing, it is your unveiling. God is not afraid of your tears. He is using them to carve the next chapter in your destiny. So pray boldly, feel free, surrender completely. This is your emotional exodus, and freedom has already begun. This is your sacred shift. What you feel stirring inside you right now is not chaos, it's construction. Heaven has not forgotten you. In fact, it's been building around you in silence. Every emotion released, every tear shed, every unspoken prayer, they've all been part of your inner alignment. What was once broken is being rebuilt from the inside out. And tonight was not just for comfort, it was for commissioning. This is your divine turning point. So don't just leave this moment as a feeling, let it become a response. Let it change how you speak, how you move, how you trust God with the next breath. Let it deepen your prayer life. Let it heal your story. Let it awaken your spiritual eyes to what was hidden. Because now you're not just waiting on the promise, you're walking with it. If this message spoke directly to your spirit, Don't keep it to yourself. Like this video. Comment 777 if you're ready to fully receive everything heaven is unlocking in your life. And share it with someone who's also being awakened right now. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a divine download, a breakthrough word, or a prophetic moment that could change your course forever. And to those of you who've sown into this ministry through Super Thanks, thank you. Your generosity helps make messages like this reach souls who desperately need to hear from God. But whether you give, comment, or simply watch silently from the shadows, know this: you are seen, you are loved, and you are being led. I bless you right now with peace that surpasses understanding, clarity that silences confusion, and favor that breaks generational delay. May your night be filled with visions from heaven, and may your next step be your most aligned one yet. God bless you, chosen one. Your time has come.